Hey, YouTube, it's Will from Little Development, and this is my 320th weekly update. Just my shirt is kind of bothering me there. So, I am just about officially back on schedule here. Things are actually starting to feel relatively good again, hitting numbers that I expect to be able to hit every day of the week, sort of thing. I've spoken about this before, where my idea of basically base strength, I might be able to peak at X number, but I always like to be able to hit certain numbers any day of the week, and I think that's almost more important for basically everybody. And if you can take that base strength and get that higher and higher and higher, it makes your peak even higher. I think Kaz may have said that. Bill Kazmaier may have said something along those lines, where bigger the base, bigger the higher the peak, that sort of thing. And it rings true. If your max bench on the best day ever is 315, your base strength is probably somewhere around like 250, maybe, or maybe not 250, maybe like 275, that kind of thing, any day of the week. But if you make that base 315, you can hit that for a single any day of the week. All of a sudden, your peak is even higher. I'm just talking. Anyway, like I said, this week things are getting back to normal, so to speak. And it was good. It was good. Monday was squats and deadlifts, as per usual. I always like to get those done first thing. I find at the beginning of the week I'm a lot more energetic / motivated to get in and get things going. So squats, I actually ended up going up to a single at 315, and it was probably one of the roughest 315s I've ever done in my entire life. But it was high bar, so that's something. I have hit that before, much cleaner in the past, but a big part of it was in my head. I just had to hit that number because things were not going very well the previous week. It was taking me a lot longer to recover from that comp than I had hoped and or anticipated. So I'm glad that got better, and deadlifts are getting better again too. I decided, because I went so heavy on squats, I would go a little bit lighter on deadlifts. And I ended up hitting a few sets of 3 at like 365, which is pretty light for me, and they didn't feel that bad either. So I'm very content with that. And then Tuesday, pressing. Finally back to overhead pressing very consistently, and doing things a little bit differently this go around. Generally speaking, I've always been the kind of person who just did mostly strict pressing, and then maybe even a touch of push pressing, just maybe, randomly during the month, that sort of thing. Now I'm going to start incorporating jerks. I guess you would call them push jerks, because it's not a real jerk. It's not a split jerk. It's more of it's a push jerk. Push presses and strict pressing all in the program at once. Again, shoulders, triceps, these are all relatively smaller muscles that you can kind of, not only can you train them a little bit more in terms of frequency, but they almost need it. You talk to a lot of great benchers, and they'll tell you their bench didn't really start going up until they were doing 2 to 3 times a week on just straight up benching. And the beauty of that is you can afford to have some sessions where it's not so great. But the other beauty is you can really plan things out. You don't have to go heavy all the time. You can sort of, okay, these 2 days are lighter days, this day's a medium day, and the next week we have a heavy day, and then 2 light days, that kind of thing. You can really undulate the intensity of the particular movement. And overhead's in a very similar boat. The muscles involved are a lot smaller, even more so than on the bench. And so I've basically been starting out with doing jerks, still sort of testing out my max on that. And then once that max hits, and for me jerks is once the technique is gone, which, to be fair, it took me about 2 weeks to get the technique to the point where I was even content with it. I wouldn't even call it perfect or good. I'm just content with it, where it's like, okay, this is just fine-tuning points at this point. The overall movement is there, which I guess out of 10 I would probably give it like a 7, maybe even an 8 out of 10. And then if it drops below that level, it's like, okay, next set we'll go up in weight and we'll just do push press. And so that's what I did on Tuesday. And then once that was done, I consider that my main movements, and then drop the weight down a little bit more. And the plan is to basically calculate the working sets with the strict pressing based off of what happened on the push press for that day, or the jerk, depending on how I want to play it out. That particular week, and then use that as my starting exercise for the superset of accessories. So strict pressing is turning into almost a accessory movement for those other two movements, which it's a change of pace for me. Normally it was the other way around, so I'm going to try doing things the other way and see how that goes. So far, it's been going pretty good. I've found that after the jerk, the push jerks, still have a lot of energy and a lot of strength left in the triceps and things like that. But after push pressing, not so much, because a lot of times on push pressing, that lockout is still very challenging once I move to the strict press. So it's something to work on, something to think about, and I think it'll only make me better. I think I worked up to 185 or something like that for like a set of 2 jerks on Tuesday, and then a bunch of accessory stuff for shoulders and triceps, and it was a pretty good session. Wednesday off. Thursday was squats again, and Wednesday I was kind of racking my brain because I was like, man, you know, I'm kind of tired of training like a powerlifter on squats, and my head is really, I don't know, my body is sort of like, you should do more volume on squats because you hate that. Even though I suck at singles on squats, I'm good at like doubles and triples. I suck at singles. I'm like, you know what you really don't do though is like just stupid sets of squats. And it sort of reminded me of an old training method I had heard of, which was essentially the 20s on squats, and that's where you basically do a set of 20 reps on squats, and the idea is you should pick a weight that you can normally only do 10 with, and you do as many as you can. Let's say you only get 12, and you go, okay, I'm going to fail this next one if I go for it. You rack the bar, you wait like 10 seconds to 30 seconds, and then you do more up until you get to 20, and then when it's over, you should feel almost dead. And I said, cool, I'll do that. Because, well, honestly, I want my legs to be bigger, I want them to get stronger, and I want to do kind of more bodybuilding style stuff with the lower body, specifically on squats. And so that's what I'm doing. And so I tried that out on Thursday, and I worked up to, I did 135 beltless, which I should be able to, and I did it for 20 in one set. And then I went up to 155, and I did that beltless, and that also was able to do that in one set. And then went up to 175. Yeah, because it was 210s. 175, and I decided to just stay beltless on that too, because it was I mean, it's a lightweight. Anything under 225, I can't really, in my own personal strength, can't really justify putting a belt on for anything under 225 right now, unless I was injured, that kind of thing, but I'm not right now. So did that, and they're all high bar, and they're all ass to grass, and boy, that set was not one. I got to 11, and then when I went for 12, I almost collapsed, and I went, okay, let's take a little break, and then I was able to get 2 more, and then 2 more, and then at one point I had 3 left, and I said, okay, let's just get these 3, and I got the 3. So it was 3 sets of 20. I mean, it was really only one working set of 20, but that's okay. My legs are sore, my cheeks are sore. I'm definitely feeling it in places I haven't felt squats in a while. So I'm going to stick with that for a couple weeks, maybe even 1 little month, and see what that can manage to accomplish for me. And just doing some more volume. And then probably what I'll end up doing is, since I'm squatting twice a week, and no reason I couldn't do 3 on Saturdays as well, What I can start doing is just having one day where I do sort of low volume and then one day where I do a lot of volume. And then even switch those days up. So day 1 might be volume, day 2 might be, more intensity, and then the next week, day 1 is intensity, day 2 is volume. There's no reason I can't do that. Well, there might be. Maybe it just doesn't work out well for me. So we'll see. I'm enjoying it so far as much as you can enjoy something like that. But I've never really trained my squats like a bodybuilder, so I'm going to start doing that. Doing some more bodybuilding on my squats, and maybe work on what's the word? The conditioning of my lower body, since I know that is something that is definitely lacking in me. Upper body, I've basically, if there's a weight I can do for 10, I can probably do it for 15. I can do 135 for basically as many as you want, that kind of thing. So I want to get to the point where my lower body's the same way. And right now it's not that way. So deadlifts, actually only ended up working up to 395. I was doing it with another, I was working in with another guy, and did work up to a beltless double overhand with 365 or 375 even. And then I switched to hook grip, put a belt on, and then pulled 385 and then 395. So did a lot of really close jumps there, just for singles. And I felt like I had 405 in me. But I said, let's just take it easy for now, because my legs were basically jello at that point. So hopefully next week my body will be a little more used to the extra volume on squats. And then tonight on press, like I said, doing that whole protocol there, worked up to like I think I got 185 for one jerk. Felt a little bit weaker on my jerks tonight, but my push press felt really good. So I hit 185 with a push press, and I said, wow, that was not so bad. Let me do 195. And I said, why are you going to do 195? Just go to 200. And this would be, I've failed 200 a lot more times than I've ever hit it on an overhead press, whether it was push press or, well, that's the only method I could ever possibly do it right now. So I was like, yeah, let's just go for it. And I was experimenting with a little different hand placement, and what I'm finding is on strict press, I definitely like a more narrow stance here-ish. And then on jerk, I like it a little bit wider, just because the range of motion's shorter. And then on push press, it's somewhere in between these two, so somewhere like right there. Because I started out real wide, and I went for it once, and it was good because it's launching right off of my clavicles. So I'm able to have it there, and I'm going right here, and I got stuck here, and I went, okay. Give it another shot. And I got here, and it felt like 5 minutes. I was just stuck right here and just could not finish that rotation out. Slammed the bar back in the rack, wasn't happy about it. Came back, put the arms just a little more narrow, boom, got stuck, and then powered right through it. And so I have officially pressed 200 pounds, at least 200 pounds, overhead twice in my life now. So that's exciting. It was a good confidence boost I needed to make myself feel a little bit better. If you saw my Tampa Bay Strongman Classic recap, I'm not exactly happy with myself right now. So I'm working. I'm working hard to try to get better, and I'm signing up for a comp in February. That's going to be kind of a fun one. It's all stones. I'll have the same goal going in there. Just don't come in last. We'll see what happens. But I'll definitely be incorporating some more stone work, probably throughout the week, as well as on Saturdays for sure. Want to get better at stones, and should be fun. Thank you for watching, as always. Look forward to the comp videos coming out next Wednesday. And if you don't, then what's your excuse?